رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. Can we recite the Surah Fatiha for Shafai Marid, for the Marhuma that was at one point in this community, Marhuma Tahira Bai Muraj, all the Marhumin, and for the alleviation of oppression from the necks of the oppressed people of the world, and for the barakah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon all of us and upon all of our souls. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Continuing with our topic, we are talking about the state of inner growth in accordance with the state of outer growth. We had arrived at the principle of sincerity, where sincerity means the removal of anything which is alien to that untarnished beauty and reality. And I know at the very outset many of you will want to go to sleep with this sentence, but please persevere. When we sit here, we can see what you are all doing and even thinking and gauge by the way you are. It's not a night of humor tonight, otherwise I would have told you that we are no less than Malakul Maut when we sit here. We observe very carefully and accurately what's going on within the crowd. So pay attention, and maybe we can respond or resolve some of those things that we have been struggling with in the past 7, 8 days or 9 days that have come from the theme that is being discussed. We stated that sincerity is the removal of anything which is alien to that beautiful, untarnished reality that lies at the core of the son of Adam, which marks his real existence or her real existence, which needs to be acknowledged and needs to be allowed to evolve and grow beautifully. This was the point at which we had stopped. Sincerity, if it is applied to the intellectual thinking mind, it will not allow for any parameters to be set upon the existence of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Whatever we think of Allah is less than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And finally, we arrive at this statement dictated to us by our masters, our imams, in which they state, La ya'lam kayfa huwa illahu. That nobody knows how he is save he, and that is the peak of sincerity. When there is no more predication, when there is no more attribution, it is just untarnished beauty, unending beauty, the glory of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. That when a person says, oh Lord, if you throw me in the pits of hell and burn me to ashes, if you ascend me and keep me in your paradise, and it is your will, O Lord, you are you. No one can judge you. No one can point a finger at you. No one can talk of you. The hearts are in awe at your reception. Imagine what this Allah is like. And we just want to develop it and answer a few of our questions before we resume our theme. Imagine what this Allah Jalla Jalaluhu is like. That Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi states in his Najul Balagha that there are that Allah has created certain angels that are so absorbed in His worship that they are not mindful of the creation of Adam and the son of Adam. They are so absorbed in worship of Allah that they are content with their worship of Allah. And Ali ibn Abi Talib responds and it says, if by God Allah were to shine a single ray of His true nature upon the hearts of these angels, they would die in regret that they haven't worshipped Allah at all. Just imagine how glorious Allah Jalla Jalaluhu is. And let's give an example that we always give, and we may have shared this with you in the past, that when it is said that the pits of hell cannot be described, it is true, it cannot be described. For whatever is contained within the words is a filtered version of the truth. You can read a captivating novel, but you may, or we may, only receive to our own extent what is the sentiment of the writer. It observing the things that he's writing about or she's writing about is totally different to the way we understand it. When the tsunami is described in the newspaper, we can never grasp what that event was. We can never grasp it. We can only relate to it in a very limited fashion. So when God describes the pit of hell, it is nothing compared to the pit of hell as it is. Now these pits of hell, we have a hadith which state that Allah stated to the angels, kindle the pits of hell. They did so. He said, intensify its heat. They did so. They collapsed and they said, "O Lord, the fire has turned blue, red, through your rage." Allah said, intensify it further. They set about intensifying it infinitely. They fell upon their faces and they said, "O Lord, it has turned white through intensity." Allah said, intensify it further. They, with their heads bowed, expressed their inability to go any further. At that point the hadith states, your Lord looked upon the pits of hell with the single ray of His majesty, with a single ray of its majesty, and the pits of hell began to roar with black fire, to the extent that the inmates of hell, the great angels, began to tremble in the awe of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. This is a single ray of Allah's Jalal, Allah's majesty. And on the other hand, we are told that if one of the brides of the seventh heaven, the lowest heaven, were to descend upon the face of this earth and break a hair of her lock and to cast it upon the face of this earth, son of Adam would be intoxicated from the fragrance of a single hair of a single bride till the day of Qiyamah. And that heaven, all seven of them put together, is an outcome of a single ray of Allah's Jamal and beauty. Imagine